What's poppin'? What's poppin'? What's poppin'? Welcome to the What Did I Miss podcast with Dennis Styles. On this show, I'll be covering all the stuff not on my YouTube channel at DS2 Smooth, so go check that out. From movies and game reviews and movie and gaming news to anime, comic books, and honestly, anything else I feel like yapping about. All right. Now that the stock intro's out the way, how's everybody week's going? Mine's going pretty terrible. I don't know why I started it like that. But I'll come back to that. And just like at the end, if you've been listening, I have this little segment called Pondering My Orb where it just refocuses my mind for the week and whatnot, and I recap what I got to work on and what and stuff like that. But that's at the end. I don't again. I don't know why I started it like that. But to clear some stuff up from last week, I made a couple mistakes while I was recording the episode. I was talking about Gen V last week, and I was talking. So there's a character called Jordan, and their abilities is able to switch between a boy and a girl. That's not their main ability. I guess that is kind of their main ability, but they have the ability. So the character is played by two actors, and I didn't shout out. I don't know why she's so low on the list. She should be right next to Jordan Lee. So I shouted out the male counterpart of the character, and I did not highlight the female counterpart of the character. Her name's London Thor. She played Jordan Lee, like the female version of the character. And I wanted to highlight her because they both did a really good job, and I really liked the character, and that's because both of the actors did a really good job. And I think it's important to give people the credit, especially she's a woman. So not they just it's easier for women in the industry to get overlooked credit wise and stuff. Not saying, women don't properly get their credit and stuff, but it's just easier to be overlooked that, and I felt bad overlooking her when she did a really good job. So I just wanted to clear that up. And then also when I was talking about Gen V, I referenced The Boys a couple times, and I said season 5, but they're only in season 4. Not that big of a deal, but I just wanted to correct that. Um but so the news for this week, the actor strike finally ended, which is great news. So that concludes the longest strike in Hollywood. I think it lasted till the writers and actor strike. I think lasted like 118 days or something like that. So the actor strike ended, and they were able to get, I think, one. I'll get into a little bit more of this. I'm not going to go into everything that they got because I don't understand everything, but for the most part, it looks like they got what they wanted. So I'm just happy about that. And oh, so with the actor strike ending, there's just been a lot of stuff resuming filming and stuff being like resumed work on being resumed. Wait, stuff being work on stuff being continued, and a lot of stuff got delayed because it's been on hold for so long. So I'll be getting to that stuff like Beyond the Spider-Verse and Superman Legacy resumed filming and continuing production. And then we have a lot more updates. We have a lot more updates on stuff like Blade and The Boys season 4. And on the gaming side of things, we finally got some GTA 6 update news. Oh my, I'm so excited to talk about that, to be honest. And the main topic this week is reviewing Marvels and Loki season 2. So there will be time codes below, so feel free to jump around to whatever part you want to, any specific piece of news or just the main topics. Doesn't really matter. But let's just get into it. So I said that we'll start with the strikes, because that's gonna kind of be the the catalyst of all the news. So the actor strike ended, and they got, so I won't be, like I said, I won't be going to every little thing they got because I don't understand a lot of a lot of it, to keep it a buck with you. But so the new contract that they struck is a 7% increase in general wages effective immediately, with future increases in 2024 and 2025. The total package includes more than 1 billion in new wages and benefit plan funding. That sounds great to me. Again, I don't know like exactly what that entails, like the 1 billion in new wages and benefit plan funding, but everyone seems to be pretty happy about it. I'm not an actor. I'm not in the guild or anything, obviously. So if they're happy about it, I'm happy about it. If they like it, I love it, to be honest. So, and I think I read somewhere that this is, I think, only like a 3-year deal, maybe. So they're gonna have to go back to renegotiate, which is great because a lot of things change very quickly, especially with the advancements of AI and technology and whatnot. So, it's good to uh, a keep refreshing the contract just to stay up to date, and so you don't get these outdated practices being implemented that don't correlate, and like why these strikes happened in the first place, because they were going off of the old TV model of residuals and whatnot, and that just wasn't working with how streaming set up and everything. So it's good to keep these new contracts in rotation. And one of their main hangups was the use of AI. So I'll just go over that. This is the last thing I'll be going over, and then I'll get into like all the delays and whatnot. So under the new contracts rules, a studio must obtain an actor's informed consent before creating or using a digital replica or a performer, whether they're an A-list star or a background actor. Crabtree Ireland told reporters that AI was one of the most divisive issues in the negotiating room, particularly with regards to generative AI or the creation of an entirely synthetic performer. I mean, yeah, this seems like all standard stuff that should be, that feels like common sense, but common sense is not too common with most people, and especially out of touch rich people who are just trying to take advantage and cut costs and save a buck to make their pockets even fatter. But so I'm glad that the industry feels like they're protected and whatnot. Because at the end of the day, they're the driving forces for this stuff. The creatives in this industry, the actors and whatnot. So yeah, so on to a lot of things resuming filming or delayed because of the strike end. And so the first thing is the Penguin is fast tracked to begin filming. So I think last week I talked about how it was delayed. I'm not sure. I don't have my show notes from last week in front of me. So I'm not sure when I said that it was being delayed, but I'm very glad that this is being fast tracked to begin filming again, because I'm really looking forward to this show. Colin Farrell as the Penguin did a phenomenal job. The prosthetics they used, phenomenal, and just the development of his character. Like, you see him clearly start as Oswald Cobblepot, and then you see him slowly turning into the Penguin. And I just think that's so cool for the development of Batman's rogues gallery and whatnot. And I'm so glad that like we may be getting a peek or more of this, more like villain wise, and more deeper dive into the mythos. And so I'm very excited in what Matt Reeves is doing with the Batman mythos. So great that the Penguin is fast tracked to be start filming again. And then also Superman Legacy being I want to say produced and directed and written by James Gunn. If you don't know who James Gunn is by now, did the Guardians movies, did the Suicide Squad, did Peacemaker, and now he's the head of DC, one of the co-heads of DC Studios, and with Peter Safran, and they're just spearheading the whole DC universe, reshaping it from the DCEU, like the Snyderverse, Man of Steel, the Justice League, all that stuff being reworked. And Superman Legacy is the first film in the new DCU. So that is some casting news was announced a while ago. Some really good casting news that I found very interesting. It sets up some of the Superman mythos, and then it sets up some of the, what's it called? No, I'm trying to say the wider DC universe. And James Gunn seems to be, a lot of people, when the casting news came out, a lot of people were kind of concerned about the Superman movie being bogged down with other DC characters and, taking focus away from Superman. But I have complete confidence in James Gunn when it comes to dealing with a lot of characters and giving them the proper shine. I think most of the Justice League characters that are going to be in Superman Legacy are really going to be like background characters or very in passing. It's still, I feel like it's going to be very Lois Lane and Superman focused. But I didn't even talking about the news. So it's set to begin filming in March with a July 11th, 2025 release day. And then also James Gunn said on this that let me try to find the tweet, because this was interesting because, okay, yeah. So here's James Gunn's tweet about it. Thanks to the efforts of our talented crew who never lost faith during the longest strikes in Hollywood history and who never let their foot off the pedal, continuing to barrel forward, creating the most amazing character and set designs I've seen in my entire career. Superman Legacy will be making the originally planned release date of July 11th, 2025. The part that was very interesting about this was him saying, obviously, he's going to hype up his project and whatnot. And like how he hyped up The Flash when it wasn't really that great. He was saying it was like one of the best DC movies ever or something like that. But I mean, that point, like he's the head of DC Studios now. Like, what do you expect him to say? Like, oh, the shit's fucking mid or whatever. He's gonna hype it up. But I found really interesting. He said creating the most amazing character and set designs I've seen in my entire career. So this was very interesting to me because, bro, James Gunn has freaking phenomenal set designs. The sets in Guardians 3, oh my gosh, like the practicality of it and the size and just the look and it just looks so great. And so if he's saying that Superman Legacy has the best set designs that he's seen in his entire career, I'm super excited for that because I'm just imagining what the future Fortress of Solitude will look like and how we've been getting rumors how it's going to be the crystallized I think Donner version from the older Superman movies. I'm just really excited to see how that's going to look practically if that's the route they're going. And James Gunn generally has really good costume designs and whatnot. So I'm so excited to see what he does for, other Justice League members and Superman himself. So I'm not going to say this is my most anticipated movie, but it's definitely high up there. I just like James Gunn's creative vision most times, and I feel like he can do something really fun with Superman and something that will bring him more into that lighthearted light. And not saying that he needs to be there, but I just want a really feel good, bright colored Superman movie, to be honest with you. On to some more Superman news. Jack Quaid says that My Adventures with Superman Season 2 is already in the can. And you'll be... What did he say? Hold on, let me go to the tweet. Sorry. Because he said a little something after. He said, get ready for more at some point. So... This wording's kind of weird. I know it has multiple meanings. In the can kind of sometimes means in the garbage. In the can, like filming wise, means like it's done, like wrapped up or something. But I'm pretty sure he says you'll see more soon. So I'm gonna go with the wrap. It's done filming or whatever. But I really liked My Adventures with Superman. I definitely have my problems with it. I feel like, let me see. The character designs, the villain character designs are I kind of like go back and forth on. I don't really like, and I don't like how techy the universe is. Like a lot of Superman's villains are tech based in this adaptation, and it's more so, and it's some of his villains, but it's more so some magic stuff and some tech and whatnot. But it's like all the characters and villains are purely like tech based, but that is a smaller problem because the show's just really good and there's like a lot of good character moments with Superman, Jimmy, and with Clark Kent, Jimmy Olsen, and Lois Lane. A lot of cute moments between Superman and Lois Lane. They're really enjoyable, and I like the action a lot. The sound design's really good. The animations, it's good. It's not like some like mind blowing. There's definitely parts that shine more than others, but I wouldn't say it's like just mind blowing animation. But it's definitely good. It's just a really good show, and it was like super quick and breezy, and I liked it. So if you haven't seen My Adventures with Superman, it's I'm trying to compare it to something. It's just really a lighthearted take. Oh, it's like kind of like anime. I should say this. It's kind of like anime inspired. Like there's anime-esque action sequences and comedy moments and stuff. And I'm really into anime, so that really clicks with me. So if you aren't, that could not click with you as well. But that's one of the big reasons I like the show. It's very anime inspired. So if you want to see some good Superman action with some anime flair to it, I definitely would check out the show because it's not terrible. But if you're not really into the character of Superman, I would still check it out to see if you like it, but maybe you won't because it has mature themes and stuff, but it is very like cutesy and really deals with the characters. I just like what it does with some of the side characters. Like I like how his name Perry White, like their Jay Jonah or whatever. I like how he has a clear hard side. Dang, I just seen someone get banged out on. He got dunked on crazy, but just he has a cleared like hard side and then a clear, softer side. I just like how they play with that and in the show. So yeah, so I'm excited to see more in My Adventures with Superman season 2, and it set up some pretty interesting things at the last part of the season. So excited to see how that pays off. And then so now on the Marvel side of things, on the delays and resuming filming and whatnot. So Sony's in the Venom verse, Venom 2, Morbius, and then eventually Craven. So Venom 3 is delayed until November 8th, 2024. And I'm not sure when the original release date was, but honestly, keep the shit. Keep it. Never release it, please. Fuck. um I laughed at that because I'll be talking about studios not releasing stuff, and so that's kind of ironic. I said that if it's well on the way, like done filming or whatnot, then push it out. But I'm just really not a fan of the Sonyverse, and I know that they're eventually gonna make a at least decent one, decent to good one, and people are just gonna. I mean, a lot of people like these movies already, and a lot of people don't. But if they make a decent to good one, I will never hear the end of it. Like, oh my gosh, just the verse they're building just makes no sense to me. I made a video on it, and I honestly still didn't touch on everything because it was a super quick call. It was I was trying to experiment with shorter form content, so I didn't script it, so I didn't say everything I wanted to say, and so it's on my main channel, DS2 Smooth, but I just talk about the universe that they're building is just so head scratching. You make First off, you make a Venom movie without Spider-Man, not even a mention, not even the symbiote leaving, like a quick shot of the symbiote leaving Spider-Man to go to Eddie or anything, just completely devoid of Spider-Man, and it's freaking Venom. Like, those two characters are so intertwined, and so it just makes no sense why you would do that. But then also, um and then so you get the absence of Spider-Man in all these movies, which he sorely missed from. And then you get they don't even let these villains be villains. They just turn them on to anti-heroes. So it's like, what the fuck? Like, do something like, obviously don't copy and stuff, but do something how Matt Reeves is doing with Batman's Rogues Gallery and really flesh out the villains. Let them be villains and make us understand why they're doing what they're doing. Are they pushed to crime for whatever reason, economic reason? They didn't have a lot of resources growing up, whatever. Or if they're just batshit crazy and just insane, like, let them be villains, and either make us understand to empathize, sympathize with them or whatever, or give them a just a reasoning why they're doing this. We don't have to be empathetic of their situation, but we have to at least understand why they're being pushed to crime. And I think that's something that the Penguin show is doing well, because I think he says, like, guys like us, got to do what we got to do, stuff like that. So it gives a very clear, whether you agree with it or not, it gives a very clear reason why he's doing what he's doing. And so they just really need to get better writers on the stuff and everything. And then you get all the stuff with Morbius at the post-credit scene, freaking Vulture being teleported to Morbius's Sony universe, and Vulture from the MCU Homecoming movie, Spider-Man Homecoming movie. And then it's just so confusing what they're trying to do. And then you got Vulture potentially coming back to the MCU. So it's like, bro, get it together, my boy. And then, like I said, when they finally get a decent to good one, people are like, oh my god, this is so freaking cool. Da da da. Like, again, not again, but I'm very in the camp of just letting people like what they like. So if people like it, if you enjoy it, that's cool, bro. You could just have fun with stuff. Not everything needs to be some great, like, fucking. I think it should be like, should be strong effort put into it visually and everything like that, writing wise. But there's nothing wrong with just going to the movie to have fun. So if you like it, you like it. And then, so now on to some Beyond the Spider-Verse news. So voiceover work for Beyond the Spider-Verse will continue now, like, the strikes are over and everything. So I think this movie, so the last movie released in June 2023, and so they were saying that, I'm trying to think of when Beyond the Spider-Verse, like, original release date. I think it was sometime 2025, late 24, which at the time of them saying that, everyone was like, yeah, there's no way they're doing that, because it took like 5 years to just animate the second movie. And so it was just like, and then also the second movie had insane crunch, and I just want them to avoid that and not crunch their workers. Just, if you need time, brother, just. And again, this doesn't come down to I'm sure if they didn't want to crunch their employees, they would, but I'm sure it comes down to, keeping the set date for your investors, and just capitalist shit. And they got deadlines to meet, or or whatever the consequence is going to happen, like you're fired or you get less funding, whatever it is. I'm not I'm putting the crunch on the corporate side of things. And there's probably, you could probably say that, the people in charge, like, on the creative side, can push back and, you know fight that crunch. But I'm not sure how everything works. So if they didn't fight the crunch properly, or they encouraged it, then shame on them and whatnot. But I'm not really entirely sure how that whole process goes. So there's a bunch of MCU schedule shifts and delays and whatnot. So I'll just go through their 2024-2025 MCU schedule. So Deadpool 3, July 26, 2024. I think it was originally scheduled for like a September release date. Could be wrong about that in 2024. Captain America 4, February 14th, 2025. Fantastic Four, May 2nd, 2025. Thunderbolts, July 25th, 2025. Blade, November 7th, 2025. I will, since I have it up right now, I will talk about Captain America is getting extensive reshoots, right? And so I'm pulling up the little tweet. So this comes from, Captain America Brave New World is reportedly getting extensive reshoots after negative test scores. 3 major sequences will be cut, with reshoots apparently happening from January to May. So there's a very big reason for this. So I think a character in Brave New World was like an Israeli superhero, if I'm not mistaken, like Sabara or something. Hold on, let me try to pull it up. Give me 1 second. Yeah, so she's like an Israeli superhero. Sabara is a character appearing in American comic books published by Marvel Comics. Okay, whatever. Sabara, can I get like a synopsis on her? Like, brother, I don't care who she was made by. Let me just get a synopsis on who she is. My computer's being fucking slow, not registering. All right. Can I get this a synopsis history? All right. Please just show me. Origin. Sabara was born near Jerusalem, Israel, and was raised on a special kibbutz run by Israeli government along with her family. And after her mutant power manifested, Ruth was the first superhuman agent created to serve... Sorry, the article updated. Serve the Mossad, the Israeli Secret Service. She was also a policewoman in the Israeli police forces of Tel Aviv as a cover. Aviv. It was presumably at this time she saved a near-to-death junkie found in an alley, granting to her powers at the same time she saved her by transferring her life energy. So yeah, there probably has to do with this character, with the conflicts with Palestine and Israel. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Probably my ignorance. I'm not really read up on that whole conflict, but at the end of the day, because I talk about the actor strike and everything, which matters. People's wages matter. But I try to not lean into the more political side. From, like I said, I'm not well versed in this topic, and that's probably from my own ignorance, and I probably should take it upon myself to research more. But I'm trying to, like, I'm not trying to play both sides, but I just don't know. But from what I've seen from the media, and again, the reason why I'm trying to tiptoe around this is because I've gotten all the things I've seen about this conflict from the media without my own research. So I can't, like, just be like, damn, just believe everything I read and seeing. But from what I'm seeing and just like the videos and everything, Israel does they're committing war crimes, and that's not what's up at all. Like, I'm kind of confused on, like, the divide of the corporation supporting Israel and, like, the general public supporting Palestine, and and so I'm just really confused, and I should research more. But this Captain America is getting extensive reshoots, and probably because that character was the Sabara character, the Israeli, like, police officer or whatever, was in the what's it called? in the movie. So they're probably reworking that, and I'm not sure if it was saying she was a hero, so I don't know if that's how she was going to be portrayed in the movie. But if they got to rework it, probably so. And so, I'm just interested to see how that's going to work out. Like three major sequences, not specifically action sequences, but three major sequences would be cut and reshoot, cut with reshoots. And so that's just kind of like worrying. And I think this changes for the better for sure, but I just wonder how that's gonna look in the final product, and if that's gonna ultimately hurt this movie. Because I'm in the camp I'm in the camp where I think his mind was broken and he definitely needed to do some groundwork. And that could have been done in the Winter Soldier. But I think Bucky should have got the shield. I feel like it's a lot more interesting. He's a fucking ex Hydra soldier assassin turned hero into the one thing like he was fighting against the whole time, Hydra, Nazis and stuff, and he's like now the symbol of America and whatnot. I feel like that's really cool. And then obviously you got the Bucky's relationship with Steve, and I just feel like that's like the natural progression. I kind of feel like giving it to Falcon was kind of shoehorned in. And I know he gets the shit in the comics, but I feel like just the way the MCU story was set up and everything, it should have gone to Bucky. I don't mind it being given to Sam Wilson, but I just feel like he's not very interesting with it. He's not a very interesting character, like in general. So I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot more depth and stuff with Bucky, and obviously that's the wrong thing because there is depth to explore with it, with him being black and everything. But it's the MCU, like they did kind of play with it in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but I feel like they really just didn't commit to that, and make that really a plot point. So it's like, it's whatever that to me that he has a shield. But I'm pretty excited about this movie because it has a lot of Hulk characters into it. Like it has, what is his name? The leader. He was in Incredible Hulk, the first like MCU movie technically, and he was shown at the end of that, or to like be transforming into him. So we're getting that return on that, which I'm very excited about. I really like the actor who plays him, the Thinker, and just excited to see more Marvel comic characters being adapted to screen. And we're also getting Red Hulk, which would be very, very cool to see, played by Harrison Ford, which is already great. The thing that worries me about that, though, is not to say like this, but Harrison Ford is, I think he's like almost like 80, if he's not 80, and being thrown into this Marvel Cinematic Universe where, you're potentially playing a character for 10 years. Like, I don't, not to say that he'll be past in 10 years, but I don't think he'll be wanting to play fucking General Ross turning into the Red Hulk while he's 90 years old. I'm not saying it can't be done or he won't, but it's just kind of like, damn, they're introducing this character that maybe just be in this movie, a character that I wanted to see for a while. The Red Hulk, I feel like he's I don't know a lot about him in the comics. I know who he is and everything, but I know like his power set and whatnot. But I just think he's a really cool character that could have a fun adaptation to screen. I mentioned Blade. Yeah. So I mentioned Blade. So Blade has a November 7th, 2025 release date. And I mentioned last week how Blade, where's that? Where's the article? Oh, here it is. I mentioned last week how Blade might be getting a rated R rating because it has a budget less than $100 million. And with rated R movies, they don't spend as much because it's a smaller audience that you're targeting with the rated R movie. Like you're not getting the families and everything and stuff like that. So you're not making as much. And so they try to offset, is that the right word? Offset that by, giving it a smaller budget so they can get more on the return. It's official that Blade now has a rated R rating. So I think the Blade director is this guy named Jan Demange, and he's done some. I'm actually watching the show right now called Top Boy. I think he's done some work on Top Boy, White Boy Ricky, his debut on 71. He's done some short films and stuff. But he says though at the end of this article about Blade, basically he just goes on to say that he's very excited that he has the R rating. Now he can explore and really get into that underlying rage that Mahershala Ali as an actor, not rage, but intensity that he has an actor under the surface, and that they could really play with that more in more violent ways. He didn't say violent ways. He says show kind of a ruthlessness and a roughness that he has I'm really excited. I'm so excited about Blade. I think I was talking about this last week. Really like the main actor, Mahershala Ali. He's phenomenal. He's a 2-time Oscar winner. He's a really good voice actor too. And they just been kind of dicking around with this movie with him, and I'm just was so nervous that he was just gonna say fuck all this shit. They're not taking it serious. I was just very afraid that he was just gonna leave the project at some point. But I'm glad that he hasn't yet, and it seems that they're getting their shit together. So super excited for Blade. I think I said Superman Legacy. Now that we know that Blade has a rated R rating, it definitely shoots up on my what's it called? On my what am I trying to say? On my anticipated list. I was already really excited for it. I don't think it being PG-13 definitely I wasn't gonna write it off just because it was PG-13. I feel like they could have still done some really good action with it, like vampires. You don't obviously they're sucking blood and stuff, but when you kill them, they don't have to be all blood. They could just turn to dust and stuff, and you could still create some very, very violent action with that. I'm very glad that Blade got a R rating. On to some more Marvel news. Fantastic Four director Matt Shakman said his work on Always Sunny in Philadelphia will influence the Marvel movie Fantastic Four. Now, this piece of news, I am like, this makes me giddy, like smile ear to ear. It just fills me with so much excitement, bro. Because Always Sunny in Philadelphia, my brother showed me the show a long time ago, and it is easily one of my favorite shows of all time. Like, of all time, I dead ass. It's one of the shows like I watch like every night before going to bed. You just can cut on any episode, and it's just so funny, and just the dynamics between the gang is so funny. But this was important though, because if you're not familiar with Always Sunny in Philadelphia, it's a group of there's Charlie, Dennis, Mac. Mac. What the fuck? I said Matt. I literally said I watch this show every night. Charlie, Dennis, Matt, D, and Frank. So group of 5. So we're one over for the Fantastic Four, but they just have really funny dynamics. They are just terrible, terrible people, and the show knows that, and it really like leans into that. They just do scumbag shit and just fuck over people and end up getting fucked over, trying to fuck over people. It's just a really funny show, really, really great character dynamics. And Matt Shakman, he's directed a lot of great, like, iconic episodes of the show. So it's been going from 2007 till now. I think it's one of the longest running comedies ever. I could be slightly wrong about that, but I know it's one of the longest running shows, comedies. But I don't know if it's the longest one. So he's directed episodes from like 2007 to here and there 2023. Really critically acclaimed episodes like Nightman Cometh. Let me pull up the article. Well, that's the only one I could really remember. That's one of my favorite. Oh, I think the gang. Hold on. Let me go to the actual tweet, because someone said of the comics which ones, some of those ones he did. I know I liked it. But anyways, he was in charge of some really great episodes that are really held up by the fandom in high regards. But basically, he was saying how, because you could think, oh, it's gonna stupid MCU humor or something like that. It's gonna be like stupid fart jokes and stupid fun. But the things that he said and he worked on WandaVision, but the things he said that he pulled from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and the things like he learned that he's gonna apply to Fantastic Four. So Shakman said, this is from the article. Shakman said this is from IGN. Shakman said the Always Sunny cast taught him some valuable lessons in chemistry and comedy that he'll bring forward to his future works like Marvel Cinematic Universe's Fantastic Four. Shakman directed 43 episodes of the show between 2007 and 2017. So I was a little wrong about that. I think I said 2007 to 2023, but I guess probably he stopped in 2017. I've learned so much from working on It's Always Sunny over the years, Shakman said. Those guys bring a unique combination of playfulness and precision, and I think you have to have both of those things in everything you make. You have to still be a kid in the sandbox playing and inventing, but you also have to be rigorous about what you're doing, and comedy is even more rigorous than anything else. The precision of making something funny is often way harder than making something really complicated with special effects work. So playfulness and precision. The improvisation work used by the It's Always Sunny cast, which has remained popular after 16 seasons and counting, is also a big influence. The rule of improv is such a good thing for the creative process, Shackman said. I like what you're bringing. Now let's also do that plus this. I think the essence of collaboration. It's how I think anything good, whether it's a giant awesome show like Monarch that's made across continents, or whether it's something like Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Patty's Pub made for 2 nickels with 4 or 5 people. So that spirit infects, I think or informs, I should say, everything that I do. I kind of like was butchering that at the end, so my bad. But he does mention he does mention comedy, but sorry. He does mention comedy, but the biggest thing I took away from that was just the dynamics between the characters and how important that is, which will be very important with the Fantastic Four. I mean, that's really important with all the new teams that are coming, like the X-Men and stuff, but I would say to really just make them feel distinct from the Avengers team, we're really gonna need to bring that dynamic that they have, like that family dynamic, but also they approach things very scientifically and practically. So you're really gonna need an emphasis on the relationships of the characters and their dynamic, and I think he understands that. So really excited. I'm really excited for the Fantastic Four. I know I keep saying like my anticipated movies, but I'm anticipating a lot apparently. So the Fantastic Four, I don't know a whole about them in the comics, but I've always just grown up with them in the media I consumed, from cartoons. Like there was a very cool slick animated cartoon show back in the day. I'm trying to think of it was just like, I wouldn't say like, kind of like anime style a little bit. I don't know if you're familiar. I'm gonna make a video about this, but there is this anime Wolverine and Blade show. It's kind of like in the style of that. Like it's not super anime, but you could definitely feel that anime influence. But that was really good. I really enjoyed that. Actually, let me look that up because I really enjoyed that show. And I might mess around and give it a rewatch. Was this it? Fantastic Four's World's Greatest Heroes. Yep, this was it. 2006 to 2010. How many seasons did this have? 1 season, 3 years. Okay. Interesting. But yeah, I really like that show. I don't remember a whole lot about it, like story wise, but I remember really liking John D. Storm in that show. But yeah, I'm super excited for the Fantastic Four, and I think the way he's been talking about it, it's been talked, but it seems like he understands, and he's gonna bring something unique to the Fantastic Four, which I'm excited to see. So we got the Boys season 4 updates. Apparently, editing is done. VFX is halfway done. Actors can now do ADR with the actor strike ending, but no premiere date is set. So it seems like they're very far along. ADR is like voiceover work. So if they need to fix something in post, like something, like maybe a line wasn't properly heard correctly by the mic or something, so they fix it. Or if they need, like, if a character is like turned around or something, they'll have the actor come in and do a voiceover and either fix the scene, adding more context, or like I said, a line wasn't heard properly or something like that. But it's usually one of those two. So now that they can do ADR, they're probably, I don't know, like how prevalent ADR is in filmmaking stuff. I don't know if it's super common to do or what. But yeah, I'm so excited for The Boys season 4. Gen V was amazing, and we're getting hopefully we get more of Tech Knight. I really liked him in Gen V. I didn't mention him when I reviewed it, but he was a very interesting character that I'm interested to see more of. And then we're also getting Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I don't know who he's playing. Maybe it was said already and I kind of forgot. But he's a phenomenal actor as well. Really loved him in The Walking Dead as Negan. So whatever he brings to the Boys universe, I think he's gonna bring something stellar. And I didn't have this podcast up and stuff. I wasn't talking about it, but I really liked, what's his face, Soldier Boy's performance. What's his actor's name? Fuck, he's from Supernatural. I'm blanking on the actor's name, but he was probably my favorite part of season 3, Soldier Boy. And so on to some other movie news. We have a new A24 film, which got my ears perked up. I think the last A24 thing I talked about was Iron Claw with Zac Efron and Jeremy White. I think Jeremy White. He's in the Bear. His name's Jeffrey or Jeremy White. Jeremy Allen White or something. He's a really good actor. I'll be talking about that in a bit. The Bear, but apparently, um, fudge. I just had her name. Hold on. Let me see how she pronounces her name really quick. Yeah. So Io Debris. She was in the Bears season 2 or season 1 and season 2. She was also recently. Oh, what was that movie I watched? The Bottoms. I think had Marshawn Lynch, her and another girl. She was really good in it as well. Um, that movie was good. It was fun. Very. It was interesting. It's definitely worth to check out. I think it's a good comedy with some interesting developments by the end of the movie and just how things escalate. It's a fun movie, and she was also in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Mutant Mayhem, the recent animated Ninja Turtles movie that was really good. She played April O'Neil. She was I think she was in something else as well, but she's been killing it recently. She's a really good actress. I didn't know because I was looking her up to see how to pronounce her name. I didn't know she did stand up. Um, so that's super cool. She's really funny. Has great comedic timing. Even this little like interview that I was watching to see how her name was pronounced, she was really funny in that. Damn, do I got a little crush or something? I don't know, but she's gonna be in a movie with Amber Mid Thunder. And Amber Mid Thunder, she was the star of Prey, the Predator movie that came out on Hulu, I think last year or something like that. It was really good. Why it didn't get released at theaters? I don't know, because that movie was great. She was really good in that, and she's really good in Legion. She plays a mutant in the show Legion. If you haven't seen Mutant, or if you haven't seen Legion and you're into comic book stuff like shows and movies, bro, go watch Legion immediately. That show is phenomenal. It's probably one of the best comic book shows to date, keep it a buck with you. But she's in that. She's really, really good in that. She plays like a, what's it called? So she has, she shares this body with another character. And basically, if, like, when she doesn't, like, feel like dealing with shit or whatever, she got to rest or something, she goes into the other body. And they're both named Carrie. And one's a guy, one's a girl. And it's just a really interesting premise and power set. I don't know if they're in the comics. They gotta be, or it might be original for the show. But she's really phenomenal in that. Phenomenal in that. Uh, and then they're also gonna be John Malkovich. He's gonna be in it. Murray Bartlett, Young Mazino, Tatanka Means, and Juliette Lewis will star in Opius for A24. The horror movie follows an iconic pop star's return following his decades long disappearance. Yeah, so I mean, the premise seems interesting, like a cool A24 premise. It has really good actors attached to it. John Malkovich, the previous two actresses I mentioned. So it has really good people attached to it. So I will keeping an eye out on this, like I said I would with Iron Claw. And speaking of Io Debris, and Iron Claw with Jeffrey Allen White, is that his name, bro? Because I really don't want to be saying the wrong thing. Jeremy Allen White. I've been saying Jeffrey this whole time. The Bears season 3 has gotten renewed for a third season. uh, the Bears season 3 has gotten greenlit, and this show is really good. Has really good visuals. It's like one of those shows where every shot matters. So like when it lingers or something, or if it is showing a paper in the background, or if it's showing how specific food is getting plated, it means something. And basically it's a show. This guy, his brother, he goes to culinary school. It's like in all the first episode or so. He goes to culinary school, like a fancy one, and his brother has a restaurant, and he comes back to help his brother run the restaurant for whatever reason. It's just a very frantic, high tension, anxiety induced show of him trying to get that restaurant together and fix his brother's problems he had with the restaurant. And it's a very well made show with great performances and great visuals and everything. And they have some really cool food being made that looks great, and that hey, it's enjoyable. Like it genuinely is enjoyable. If you like great storytelling and tight writing and strong visuals, go definitely check out that The Bear. And so we got some. I don't know how. I think he's in rumors in talks to write. So you have three-time Oscar nominee John Logan, writer of Gladiator, The Aviator, Hugo, and Skyfall. I haven't seen any of those movies, but I know that Skyfall is highly praised. I think Gladiator is highly praised, and I'm blanking on Hugo because I think I heard some stuff about that. But he's in talks to write Brave and the Bold for DC Studios, which is cool. James Gunn said he wanted to do an emphasis on writers, really good writers and stuff, and really just focus on the quality, which they're gonna need to do if they want to separate themselves from Marvel. And Marvel seems to be getting on that same wavelength. So it's cool to see how if this is true, James Gunn putting his words to practice and getting better writers on this stuff, because that's all this stuff needs. Like, there's no superhero fatigue. There's no none of that. Superheroes and stuff, they will be in the public eye forever. And if you oversaturate and you put out mediocre projects, you're gonna kill the goodwill. I don't think they'll ever go away, but you are gonna kill the momentum. But if you have strong writers, people with strong visual visions and strong, you know, bringing their unique flair to these movies, then you are gonna get passion projects and projects that feel like love letters to the characters that they're being adapted from or whatever. And so you just need to focus on the quality of this stuff, because people will go out and see anything that has good word of mouth and is quality. So if you make good quality, you're gonna get that regardless. And so hiring a well-known writer that has worked on very good things is a step in the right direction. So Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon and Army of the Dead are in the same universe. If you don't know, so Army of the Dead, there's this movie made by Zack Snyder, the one who did the old DC universe with the Snyderverse and Man of Steel and everything. He made a movie called Army of the Dead. It's, I think, like a zombie outbreak came across the world, and the movie follows these people they're in Vegas and they're trying to break into a vault, get a lot of money or whatever. And the movie's fine. It was an enjoyable watch. It was on Netflix, so if you have Netflix, I mean, it's not nothing crazy, not nothing. I would check it out. It's really good visuals, and I think that's really one thing I really like from Zack Snyder. He does really good action, and he has really strong visuals, even though if the writing's not up to snuff most of the time. I'm not saying the movies are like terrible, but just like not as tight writing and everything and coherent story. And that's not with everything, but I just really like his movies, mainly for his visuals and actions and stuff. And so Rebel Moon is kind of his rated R Star Wars, and he's been talking about this for a minute, and it's gonna be on Netflix, and it's what I just said, like rated R Star Wars, just Star Wars more hardcore. But what's interesting about these universes being connected, so in Army of the Dead, you could spot a UFO. And so Rebel Moon is like set, I said Star Wars, so it's like set in space and like future shit. And so you could see a spaceship in Army of the Dead fly off at the very beginning. And I guess like the zombie outbreak is kind of like an alien thing. And so it's just, I like when universes are like connected and stuff, and they have like lore and everything. And not James Gunn, wasn't a huge fan of his DC universe, but I mean, like I said, like I enjoy like sci-fi stuff, and I enjoy you know zombies and alien viruses, and so them being connected is very interesting. And I wonder how that UFO at the beginning of Army of the Dead is going to play a point at some point. And then also he said that there was a Rebel Moon character in Army of the Dead, so there was supposed to be Army of the Dead animated like spinoff. And I guess at one point they like enter a portal and they go into a different dimension. And one of the characters from Rebel Moon, I guess, was in like they enter a dimension, they go to like a bar. One of the aliens in the bar was a Rebel Moon character. So, I just interested to see how this universe develops. So John Wick 5 is being written and a John Wick anime is in the works. So I'll start with John Wick 5. So John Wick 4 ended with a pretty definitive ending. I'm not going to spoil the ending of John Wick 4, but and so hearing John Wick 5 is in the works just really sounds, and the director and the maker of John Wick, he said that they did want to do a number 5, but they kind of wanted to, really figure out the story and stuff. So I don't know if this is purely an executive like decision thing, but it seems that what's it called? It seems like they kind of have like a plan for John Wick 5, which I'm not opposed to seeing. Just with John Wick 4 ended, I think it definitely should focus on a different character. because there are some really cool characters that they set up as well in John Wick 4 that they could really focus on moving forward, or focus on for a time being. It doesn't have to be the whole time moving forward. But I could definitely see a movie with like Donnie Yen's character, or the character with there's this one girl. Something happened with her dad or whatever, so they could focus on her. So John Wick 5, I would prefer probably them to, if it has to do with John Wick, the character himself, to put a pause on, stop it at 4. But if they have a either interesting story to tell with him further that doesn't feel like redundant of what we've seen, then I'm interested in seeing that. Or if it's focused on a different character, I'm interested in seeing that, because the universe it's in is really interesting itself. It just, there was a spinoff called The Continental when I was reading a little bit up on John Wick 5. So apparently, and it didn't get that great reviews, and it was a spinoff of John Wick universe, and I think it was like the founding of the hotel or something that is in that movie. And so I was reading that the creative team behind John Wick and stuff really didn't have a hand in that. They kind of like showed them the bare bones of what they do, and it was a whole different creative team working on that. So that could speak to why that quality of that is off, and that is leading into the anime that the creative team of John Wick will be working on. And so the anime, I think John Wick as the universe and the character really lends itself to the anime setting. Just high octane violence, just great visuals and stuff like that. I think it really lends itself to the anime aesthetic, and I'm very excited about that. If it is that same team that worked on the John Wick movies. I haven't seen The Continental, but I was kind of not excited, but I was willing to check it out. But then I heard it wasn't that good, so I was like, yeah, whatever. And then also finding out it's not the same creative team behind John Wick, I care even less now. So yeah, I'm excited for the John Wick anime. And John Wick 5, I'm hesitant, but I'm willing to hear more news about it. So we kind of got... So The Office, I was speaking about this a couple weeks back. The Office was getting... It was talks that The Office was getting a reboot. And then it was a couple weeks later, a week or two later, the creator was like, we want to do something like a spinoff, not particularly a reboot. Yeah, so he's kind of confirmed that it won't be a reboot and it's going to be a spinoff. And that's all that is. I really like The Office as a show. Again, like Always Sunny in Philadelphia, it's one of my favorite shows of all time. One of the shows I just cut on when I'm going to sleep or in the background or something like that. Not so much so because it got moved to Peacock and taken off Netflix, so fuck that. But yeah, he said that either it's going to be, it's going to be with new characters for sure, but the same documentary team will go and focus on like another industry. So maybe, Office was focused on Dunder Mifflin and they dealt with like paper cells and whatnot. So it could be another corporate industry that they could be trying to, focus on this time, which I'm not opposed to. Because he also said like the way the Office story ended was just pretty perfect, and he doesn't really have a desire to continue it, and you just should leave that where it is. So that is the right sentiment to have in right direction. So I'm glad that he said that he knows that the Office ended in a good spot, and it would be kind of going backwards to continue that. So a complete spinoff, I'm more open to than a reboot. So this week on corporations being slimy fucks, Warner Bros. Shelved a live-action CGI hybrid Coyote versus Acme for I don't know if it's exactly $30 million tax write-off, but that's where I read. But the movie had like John Cena, was co-produced by James Gunn. Let's see. It was it says CGI, live-action CGI animation hybrid, so I imagine like something like Looney Tunes Back in Action, which is, I love that movie so much, has Brendan Fraser. And what is the plot of that movie? His dad's like a secret spy or something, and it's just like Looney Tunes hijinks, and Brendan Fraser's the main character, is Bugs Bunny. Daffy Duck is with him along like the journey, and they just go on this cross-country journey. It's a very fun movie, and that's what I imagine that this kind of movie was going to be. But it starred John Cena, co-produced by James Gunn, which I said. I'm trying to see if there's any other names attached to it. But yeah, so it was like a $30 million tax write-off. The movie is made for like $72 million. something like that. So super, not fairly low budget. I'm not gonna say super low budget, but fairly low budget. And which was like interesting about this, it was like, why didn't they just release it? It was for 72 million. It has a Looney Tunes name attached to it. John Cena's attached to it. James Gunn's attached to it. I feel like this would have made its money back easily. It's 72 million, and I don't know. It was just a weird thing to shelf this, and they also shelf Batgirl. And when I say shelf this, these were done being made. Like these could have released, and they just shelved them. Like Batgirl was a full movie, and they just shelved it, which also had Brendan Fraser in it. I don't know. It's just like why do this? And I think I'm not saying Warner Bros is the only company that does this, but the only company that I really see is open about it. Like I don't really see Disney shelf anything. I don't really see any other companies shelf anything for tax write off, or maybe like they're just maybe way more low key about it. I don't know. So it just seems weird they're doing this. And then also I think some behind the scenes footage was posted on Twitter from one of the it was from discussing films, but I don't know if someone who worked on the film had to post it. So maybe they picked it up from someone who worked on the film, but it ended up getting copyright struck and taken off the platform, which is like, damn, they can't even show their the stuff they like worked on. Like it's not even like footage of the movie. It's just behind the scenes stuff. And I think stuff like that's just super scummy and just anti art and just it. I don't know. It just doesn't feel good to have to obviously from the outside looking in, but even more obviously so working on it, to have your work just not work on something for a while and just it not come out, and no one's able to see it. You're not really able to show, like I said, the behind the scenes on it. Like you're not able to show anything. That's kind of like just demoralizing, and that's just not cool to me, to be honest. But we have quite a bit of we have one, two, three. We have four trailers to watch. I did watch I watched two of them. I watched three of them. So I need to watch one more. So we have the Avatar Last Airbender trailer, the Ultraman trailer on Netflix, the animated movie, which looks very interesting. I've heard of the character before, but I watched the trailer. It was really good. And then we have the live action YuYu Hakusho show. It's an anime. And then we have DC's Deadboy Detective. I'll start with Avatar. It looks really, the sets and stuff look really well made. I'm really kind of very, very lukewarm on Avatar. Is not an anime, but same vein, just anime adaptations. I just don't think they're very good, to be honest. A lot of people, not a lot of people, but some people seem to enjoy them. But I don't know. It just loses a lot of the magic of it being turned into live action. Like you can't just be as rambunctious and the same comedic moments and timing you have in live action compared to the anime. It just doesn't work the same. Just some of the way the anime characters talks doesn't translate well to live action and whatnot. So I just feel like you lose a lot of the flair, especially the action and stuff. So I'm very lukewarm on live action adaptations. And then also, if you're not really bringing anything new to the table with the story, it's just like, what's the point? Like I could just watch it in animation if it's the same exact story, but it's just better. But anyways, this will probably be more on live action Yu Yu Hakusho, more so on than Avatar, because it does look amazing. The sets look amazing. The costume designs look amazing. The CGI looks pretty good. But again, I don't really see how this brings anything new to the table. So I probably won't be checking this out unless I just hear crazy good things about it. But it's like the animation's right there, and the animation's fucking damn near perfect. So I don't know. Just not really a big fan of live action stuff. But onto the Ultraman trailer. Let me pull it up because this actually was very interesting to me. Ultraman's been a character that I've heard about for a while now, just in Japanese, I don't want to say culture, but like, watching anime and stuff, like you just come across like some Ultraman stuff here and there. And I'm not really sure who he is as a character, but the trailer, he's like this 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 baseball superstar, and the animation looks so buttery smooth. Go watch. It's called Ultraman Rising. It's gonna release on Netflix, and Netflix dropped the a teaser on their YouTube channel. So go check that out. The animation's buttery smooth. The animation style is great. Is this more? I'm trying to think of it, like those CGI models. Like a Pixar movie type deal is what I would akin to, like something like Meet the Robinsons or something like that. That type of animation style. But he seems to be this, and he's this famous baseball player. But he transformed into Ultraman, and he turns into this giant Power Rangers like mech size thing, and it just has really good animation, and the comedic stuff looks really fun. He can like fly and stuff. It just, I don't know. I've been trying to like find some Ultraman stuff for a while, and some of the, not to say that it's bad, but you know, some of the like the live action like Japanese stuff is kind of, it's a bit corny. Like if you aren't really, I don't know, used to that, it can come across like very cheesy and looking. And that's how it kind of come across as to me. Um, Again, not to say it's bad or anything, but it just, I'm more reluctant to check it out, you know. But this is in animation, it looks really good, and I've just been trying to get into this character not for a while, but interested. And so, you know, at the beginning of the trailer, he's like fighting this big dragon monster, and it has like this egg that it's taking away or something, and like it, Ultraman ends up getting the orb, and ends up being like a baby monster, and he's like kind of trying to like take care, and it's huge, not huge, but he's, when he's in his big Ultraman form, he can hold it like in his hands, but when he's in his human form, it's like towering over him. I don't know, so just, it just looks like a very fun time. So yeah, go check out that trailer for sure. And so we have the live action Yu Hakusho. Oh, when is this coming out? Sorry, when's the Ultraman? So 2024 doesn't really have a release date. So we have the live action Yu Hakusho. And yeah, man, the One Piece live action was getting a lot of praise and stuff, and Yu Yu Hakusho is just very goofy and very just like rambunctious, and that's not it all the time. Like there's obviously serious moments and stuff, but this was a teaser, so this wasn't a full trailer. But it just seems super serious the whole time, and again, just like losing a lot of the magic of what makes the show so fun. You know, you can't properly have like that anime comedy and stuff, and I don't know. It just, the visuals look fine. The ones in Avatar look better, but I don't know. Yeah, it just looks, it's just like it just lost all its sauce. You know, and that's why I really don't. I'm not a huge fan of live action adaptations. But this is December 14th, I think. You know, if you like this stuff, you like it. Not really my cup of tea, but I just wanted to talk about it because Yu Yu Hakusho, it's one of my favorite anime ever. So, you know, maybe I'll check it out if it has really good praises. Again, if it's not really doing anything new to the story, then what's the point? I'll just watch the anime again, and then the anime's finished. Like, the show's probably definitely not going to finish at all. So it's like, what's the point, you know? And then DC's Deadboy Detective. Let me I actually have to watch this trailer, so I'm gonna, give me a second. I'm not sure who this character is at all. Oh wait. Oh, he was in Doom Patrol? Okay. So I need to maybe rewatch Doom Patrol, but let me watch this teaser trailer really quick. And yeah. Well, so I'll get back to it. Get back to you guys in a second. So I just got done watching the trailer, and it looks fine. It had DC's name attached to it, so that's why I checked it out and put it on here. And it's made, so it's from the author who did Sandman, so I think Neil Gaiman. I could be wrong about that, but the author who did Sandman, and it says the producers of You, which is a well-made show. So yeah, the visuals and stuff look good. The CGI looks good, and so basically, it's two dead boys. They're ghosts, and they're just detectives, and they solve supernatural crimes or supernatural cases as ghosts. And I mean, it looks like a fun time. I'll definitely check it out. Let's see how it's hitting for it. Like I said, it looks well made, so there's that going for it. And when I searched up the trailer, Deadboy Detective came up in Doom Patrol, so I guess he was in that. I really don't remember him in that. So maybe I gotta rewatch. I don't know if it was the same actor. I couldn't really tell. I wasn't looking too hard, so I don't know if it's the same actor or whatnot. So, but Doom Patrol comes on Max, HBO Max, and this is being made by Netflix, and didn't have a release date, so I don't think they are connected, or it's the same actor, licensing stuff and whatnot. So I don't think it's that, but I don't know. It looked cool. I'll check it out. I'm not sure if I'll stick with it, but I'll definitely check it out. And on the gaming side of things, we have GTA 6, bro. GTA 6, they finally dropped some news on it. So a trailer is going to be released next month for GTA's, I think, 25th anniversary or something. But this is a long time coming, man. GTA 5 dropped in 10 years ago in 2013, bro. I remember. I vividly my birthday was until the end of the month, and uh I was expecting GTA, and GTA was coming out in the earlier in the month, so I was expecting GTA by my birthday. But my grandma surprised me with GTA when it came out, so I didn't have to wait, and I was just so fucking happy. I think I literally, when I got the game, I stayed up for legit like 24 hours straight. Like, I'm not lying. Like, I was just playing the story legit 24 hours straight, bro. Minimum breaks. So I was 13. This was what, 7th, 8th grade, bro. I was grinding. I was grinding it out, man. It's so GTA has been, and I just is a super fun game. I just hopped on GTA 5 more like literally a week ago with my friend. We just been running some heists after like years of not hopping on it. Probably maybe sporadically here and there or whatnot to play. Maybe it's a couple story missions or just to see what's popping online. But GTA 6 has the potential to be like one of the biggest games of all time. And I don't know, man. I'm just GTA. They're just really gonna need to bring their A game. GTA 5 was able to stay relevant for 10 years with GTA Online. They're gonna need to bring the same type of energy to GTA 6. And GTA Online's not perfect, but bro, the early years in GTA Online, bro, that was some nostalgic stuff right there, bro. Running Rooftop Rumble, Covenant, running the early day high Pacific Standard. Um, Come on, bro. Like, that game is nostalgic, like, really. And so, super excited with GTA 6 coming out. I wish they would remaster or remake or do something with GTA 4. I just love the physics in GTA 4 so much, like just the ragdoll physics and just the way car handling and stuff and whatnot. GTA 4 is super is a classic for me. So I wish they would do something with that and not half-ass it like they did with the San Andreas remake or whatever. Um, so we have a Wonder Woman game update. So there's a Wonder Woman game being made by, who is it being made by? Monolith Productions. I'm not sure who they're under, but this comes from a job posting. So they're looking for so there, I guess there's more proof in the Nemesis system that will be used in the game, and the Nemesis system is really cool. So this was introduced and patented in Shadow of Mordor, or one of those Mordor games, and basically you'll have these like lieutenants on the map, right? And you got to go fight them. I'm a little probably shoddy on my exact explanation, but you fight the lieutenants, right? You if they like so you fight them, and if they beat you, they level up. If they beat you, like they become a leader in their ranks, and they get like grunts or whatever, or they get stronger or whatnot. And basically it's a nemesis system, and so you create like this nemesis with this guy. Maybe he beat you a couple times, now he's fucking the leader of a whole clan or whatnot. And it's a very cool, unique system, and Monolith Games, or whoever they're under, patented it, so no other game has been able to use it since the Shadow of Mordor games. And they only released two of them, and the last one to get released was like fucking 7 8 years ago. And so probably not that long, but it's been a minute. And they so this system, this unique system that is literally kind of like not revolutionized gaming, but it's not been done in gaming really before, and to be patented and only used for one company is kind of shitty. But they're finally bringing it back, and so there's a Wonder Woman game coming out, and which I'm really excited for. I don't think we've really gotten any Wonder Woman games or anything. Um, I think she's a super cool character. Power set's super cool, so looking forward to that. But they're also looking someone who has experience with live service games. Dot dot dot. Live service games are, I wouldn't say they're shit, but like they just encourage just anti-consumer business practices, just cosmetics out the woo, like $20 fucking skins and whatnot. And uh, this is for other games as well, but not properly having all the features and stuff in your game because it's live service, so you can update them later and whatnot, stuff like that. And a lot of people just don't like live service games. And then with DC's recent game that called just the Suicide Squad killed the Justice League or whatever. But they a trailer was released, and it was just a bunch of live service stuff, bunch of camos, bunch of different currency you had to buy and collect to upgrade and whatnot. And people were just not vibing with it, so the game got delayed. And so what's it called? It got delayed, and they're reworking a lot of the systems in that game. So it's just like, bro, people don't want this live service shit. And then also we get the Avengers games, which was live service, which was terrible. Like, I think the core of that game is decent to good, but it's just bogged down with terrible cosmetics decisions, terrible mission design, like live service mission designs. Like, it just is really bogged down by the live service aspect of the game, and that happens with a lot of these games that aren't really meant to be I'm not, obviously you could build any game any type of way to fit any type of build, but like a live service superhero game really doesn't work most times. And I feel like maybe something with Iron Man could work, because you have different suits and whatnot. And again, but still, I wouldn't want to see a live service in any of my superhero stuff. Like, I don't want to fucking collect 5 different currencies to unlock a suit that would be unlockable if it was just a single player game. Like, it's not very fun to play most times. Like, I'm not trying to grind a fucking superhero game. Like, I don't know. It's just a time and a place for it, and I think most superhero games aren't the time for live service games. But that was a lot of yapping about that. And so Call of Duty MW3 had a bad crunch time. So this was the shortest developments. What the? Hold on, sorry. I clicked on an article and it brought up the last one I was on. What the fudge? All right, whatever. What point was I on? Oh, this was the shortest development cycle for any Call of Duty game. It took 16 months. Most Call of Duty games take 3 years. Employees had to work nights and weekends to complete the game, feeling betrayed by broken promises to avoid crunch time. It's currently the lowest rated COD game ever on OpenCritic. And this game, you could really feel that. So the campaign is basically in the Warzone map with cobbled together by cutscenes, and it's very terrible, super bad. And one of, think when they do have them, one of the really main things I enjoy with Call of Duty is playing the campaigns. Like, that is a staple. Before I got online to play online Call of Duty, the campaigns, special ops, those were my bag, bro. Those were my bag. Replayed MW2 countless times. Replayed MW3 countless times campaign. Replayed Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 campaign. It's just the replayability of the COD campaigns are just so fun, and just the set pieces they bring to them. And it's just, they just drop the ball on Modern Warfare 3 so hard. Like, there's just none of that. Like, all the emotional moments are done terribly. It's just terrible. And Zombies feels like was half-assed cobbled together. And I'm ashamed to say that I did before the crunch time and stuff came out about this game. I did get this on release because I just been looking for something online to play with my friends, and until GTA 6 comes out, there's just really not anything to grind. Like, we're not really into Destiny or anything. I don't be on 2K or nothing. It's just, was looking for an online game. We checked out the finals. That was fine. I just wasn't really feeling that. It's like a 3v3 game mode, and it's just, I wasn't gelling with that. And so I was just really looking for an online game, and Modern Warfare 3 was one of them. And so I just felt kind of bad, hearing I spent fucking $77 on this game, and then you get this fucking terrible crunch time, the campaign's half cooked and everything, and it's just a game not worth your day one release money. I'm kind of mad that I spent the money on it. I'm mad in the sense because it was half cooked, like I said, but then I'm not mad in the sense I'm having fun time with it online, going for the camos and whatnot. Online is solid. I really like the gunplay and whatnot. I really like the weapons and stuff, but this was definitely, if my friends weren't involved and I found out about the campaign in crunch time, I probably honestly would have skipped this one this year, because it's honestly just at this point, right now in my life, it's just a distraction for me to have on my own. If I wasn't playing with my friends, I just want to play COD sometimes, and I could be editing and whatnot, script writing, and it's kind of a distraction if my friends weren't involved. So I probably wouldn't have got it, to keep it a buck with you. But shame on them for the crunch time. Shame on them. And so the final gaming thing before I get into comics and then our main topics is Anthony Starr, who plays Homelander in The Boys. So he's gonna be Homelander. The character is gonna be in Mortal Kombat 1. They just released Omni Man from Invincible. And J.K. Simmons, who plays Omni Man in the show, he played J. Jonah Jameson's in the Spider-Man movies, and he's in a lot of other good stuff. He voiced Omni Man, right? And so Anthony Starr, seemingly, he said on Instagram, someone asked him, "Are you playing Homelander in MK1?" And he said no, which was kind of like, damn, like you get the Homelander character model that looks exactly like Anthony Starr, and then you don't get him for the game. Like I don't know, that kind of like sucks because I'm Homelander just has like a such a Anthony Starr's Homelander just has like a just iconic line delivery and voice, and so that kind of sucks that he won't be in the game. I mean, I'm not really too fussed about this. I'll cop this game when it's fucking 20-30 bucks. So I probably won't be playing this for another very couple months, or when 20-30 bucks, or when they release all the combat character packs in one, like the ultimate edition or something. That's when I'll check it out, because I really just want to play as Homelander and Omni Man when friends come over and stuff. Some local play, and just play the story and do the towers. That's all I really got out of it, and I'm not paying $77 to just do that. Um, the real value in fighting games is playing online and stuff, and I'm not very good at fighting games, so I don't play online and everything. So um, that like cuts a lot of value out of the game for me. So there's really no point for me to spend that money and shit until it's on sale. But on some comic news, we got two comic things before we get into the main topics. We have What If Venom. So a new Marvel series, new Marvel What If series is like what if different characters in the Marvel universe were venomized, and so the cover is really cool. It has like it's fractured and it has different venomized like versions of characters, and so like the head is like a venomized version of Loki, and the left part of the body is like a venomized Doctor Strange, and the left like middle part of the body is a venomized Wolverine, and the right leg bottom is a venomized She-Hulk, and the right arm is like a venomized Moon Knight. And it looks really cool. There's some cool concept art attached to it, and basically what if Venom, and that is an interesting premise. So I'll be keeping an eye out for that when that gets released. And then also I think I released or talked about, I think a week or two ago, about Ultimate Spider-Man getting a new comic, and how it's like a new take on the character. He's getting his powers, instead of when he was 15, 16 years old, he's getting his powers after he's already started a family with MJ and had kids and everything. So it's a very different take on Spider-Man. But they released a look at Green Goblin in the Ultimate Universe, and he kind of like has this techie look to him. Like it looks basically like an Iron Man suit, and he's just riding not typically an Iron Man suit, but I don't know, it's just super techie and not traditional Green Goblin. And a lot of people because there's a lot of good names attached to this, so they're like, the design's kind of iffy for the Green Goblin, but everything else surrounding the story is like really good. So people are kind of giving it a pass and whatnot, and I think it does. I don't really like the design, but like I said, there's a lot of good names attached to it, so I'm not really too fussed over the design. So it's a kind of whatever to me. But so now we're on our main topic for the week, the Marvels review. This movie had not a lot of problems, but a lot of problems. What am I trying to say? Sorry, it had a lot of problems production wise. Like the budget ballooned to 250 million, which is on the higher end of a Marvel movie costing. And maybe you don't want to spend $250 million on the Marvels. Not because I said this last week. Not saying they don't deserve it, but just with these characters, and I guess this is kind of the wrong sentiment, but it's really underperforming at the box office by a wide margin. There's a couple reasons for this. So let me just get into the box office numbers, and I'm really talking about it negatively, but I liked it for the most part. It was fine. So the Marvels opens with a worldwide box office of 110.3 million, which for a $250 movie isn't good like really at all. And then also opens with 47 million at the domestic box office, the lowest opening weekend in MCU history. So there could be a couple reasons why this movie is underperforming. One, the actor strike, and the actors weren't able to properly promote it. That's a big factor. Two, it's all female led, um, which which doesn't which I'm trying to say that doesn't necessarily hurt it, but with Marvel movies, you just get a bunch of just like shills and again, if it's a good movie, people will go see it regardless, even if it's female led. But with it just also not being, it's not terrible by any stretch. But with it just not being knocked out of the park, you're gonna get a lot of people bad mouthing it and talking down on it because it's female led and whatnot. And then also, uh, so I said the strikes, female led, and I think that's a really big reasons why the box office is so weak. And then also the Marvel putting out subpar projects recently, so that's really gonna hurt it a lot. And then it's not getting that great of word of mouth. So it's not really gonna shake up to be the greatest. But let's get into the story a little bit. So this movie is about Kamala Khan, Carol Danvers, and what is her name? What is her character's name? Monica Rambeau? Monica Rambeau? I'm trying to think. Is that her mom's name? I think that's her name. But Monica Rambeau. And basically, they all kind of have like similar powers, light-based powers, and there's something happens with some quantum entanglement with their powers, and basically, whenever they use their powers, they switch places, and which really there's some really fun action that stems from this gimmick, and it was really fun and enjoyable to watch. But yeah, so that's basically the story, and then I'm trying to think if there's like the finer details of it without like spoiling it. The villain, like just trying to, so the villain is from the planet in Captain Marvel because Captain Marvel got her memory wiped and was like being suppressed by the Kree, and so when she finally broke out of that, she was like on the Kree planet, and so she destroyed the AI that was ruling the planet, and and whatnot, and so that kind of like toppled their society, and I'm trying to think. Yeah, so it kind of like toppled the society, and the villain was like a child in that society, and they're trying to get revenge on Captain Marvel. So yeah, that's basically the premise. And so I think this movie was fine, like I said. Really good actions. The directing from Nia DaCosta was, I think, amazing. I think what really held up this movie was for sure the character interactions, and I think that, which is funny because I felt the same way with the show Miss Marvel, and where that show kind of fell off, I think it started off really strongly with a strong personality in the way that they shot things, the way that they would animate stuff, and the way like when Kamala Khan talked about, because Kamala Khan, she's a fangirl of the Marvel universe. Basically, if one of us was thrown in the Marvel universe, like she knows all the heroes, like she just knows all the lore on them and everything. And so when she got her power, like she's obsessed with Captain Marvel, so when she got her powers, she based her image and stuff off Captain Marvel. And what am I trying to say? So the character interactions that stem from that and her finally get to meet Captain Marvel and just really held up the movie. And I felt the same way with Miss Marvel. I kind of like think circling back to that point, it just had very strong personality and stuff, and just the way they animated things with Kamala Khan fangirling, and it just felt very teenage vibe. And they do that in this movie with her a little bit at the start, and they kind of lose it the same way they lost it in the Miss Marvel show. But in this, it makes a lot more sense because it's not just strictly about Miss Marvel, so it's not going to be like that all the time. There's other characters in the story, but just the same thing with the Miss Marvel show. Although I did like the villains more in the Marvels, the villains are just kind of not weak, because I liked their motivations. They were just the way they were written. It was very just kind of felt one dimensional, and the lines that they used was very just like standard villain one-liner lines, but their overall reasoning to do what they're doing and their overall like their connection with Carol and stuff, I think works really well. It's just this movie needed to be a little bit more longer to breathe and really, I think, flesh out and really cement that and really just give more time for Kamala and the characters to interact, and there's definitely time for that. But like I said, that was the strongest part, so I guess I kind of would just want to see more of that if the villain and stuff's not going to be as strong. It was just lacking in the overall plot, but the character moments were very fun. Kamala Khan's her whole family is a very strong has a very strong dynamic that is enjoyable to watch on screen. It was enjoyable in the Miss Marvel TV show, and it's a highlight here. And I kind of it kind of did. I don't want to say overstayed its welcome, but some stuff did kind of like drag on a little bit too much. Like I feel like this is Kamala's character, so it didn't really bother me per se, but she's just very like screamy and like fangirling, and she does tone it down a little bit, but it did kind of get annoying, just like her just like screaming all the time, like her fangirling and shit. That makes sense, but I don't know. It kind of like I just have little brothers, and so I just have like a pet peeve of just hearing high pitched voices just screaming all the time. So that could just be my my bias bleeding into it, but it wasn't like too much. But I was saying about her family, they did it kind of it did they did sometimes overstay their welcome a little bit, but they're still really enjoyable though. And it's like some of the like there's a side shit that was happening just wasn't very interesting. Um, like some of the B plots and the way it does come like around in the story is fine. Just it was just like whatever. Like you spent so much time with this point. Like I feel like could have been used to flesh out other areas of the story. Yeah, I think I said the action was good. The CGI was pretty decent as well. And there's some shoddy moments here and there, but overall was pretty good. The post credit, so it has two post credit scenes. I really like them a lot. One of them's like very like fun and cute, and the other one's like, whoa, what the fuck? And so those were very good. Um, I said there was good action with the switching of their powers and how they handled that. And I'm just trying to like just because I'm about to get into spoilers, so I just want to make sure I hit everything spoiler free wise. But I would say if you're not like invested in these specific characters, you could definitely wait on it. Yeah, because it's just fine at best. Like you're not really not fine at best. It's I'll give my rating in a second, and it's just there's more to be desired from this story, and so I can't really recommend it if you're not invested in these characters. But if you are, it's gonna be a fun time and everything. I think it's a good family movie. Let me rephrase that because you don't have to necessarily be invested in these characters to enjoy this movie, but you would get a lot more being invested in these characters because some of them were, and that's a good point about the plot. I feel like some points of the plot were kind of a little bit glossed over because some of the stuff was set up in Kamala in the Miss Marvel show, so they really didn't like go into it, and maybe they're saving that for Miss Marvel season 2, but we really haven't heard anything if that's a thing. Um, so I don't know, just like specifically with her bangles and stuff. That's not really a spoiler, but I'll get more into that. Yeah, it's a fun time overall. If you're just looking for a family movie to kill some time, definitely go check it out. But if you're a MCU fan and you're kind of on the teeter on the seesaw with how the quality's been up and down, and you're an MCU fan and you're not specifically invested in these characters, I definitely would wait on it. But if you're invested in these characters, Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, um, you know, Monica Rambeau, then go check it out for sure. I think my rating would be somewhere like a 7, 6.57. And I should say this: my ratings really don't mean anything. Like it's just a rating. I honestly don't know why I did it, but it's just that it my ratings they could fluctuate. Like I could be someone could point something out to me that I didn't really like realize in the story. Maybe I just overlooked it. Maybe I'm too close to it with hype wise and nostalgia, so I just like overlooked that point, and it could change my mind. But usually my ratings don't change drastically. They'll probably go up a point, down a point. Very not very often it changed like super drastically. But I could see this. I could see this movie. I said 6.57. I could see this movie like with a rewatch and stuff. I could see it going up to maybe a 7.5 at most. But I think it's like at least a solid 7. On the spoilers though, I should have said that I was keeping it spoiler free. Damn, still getting used to this. But on the spoilers, I really liked how. Oh fuck! I should have said this earlier. how I was saying with the characters and stuff, I liked how vulnerable Carol was in this. It was cool seeing her be a lot more, have an actual personality. And I felt like this movie, I should have said this in non-spoilers, but I felt like this movie would have benefited from Marvel getting a sequel before this movie and then do the Marvels, because I just feel like the Monica reunion and stuff could have handled it in like the Captain Marvel sequel, and you could have went past that, and we could have had more focus, more focus on developing the story and whatnot, and make it just a stronger story. And just with Kamala Khan, the Bengals I was talking about, like, so apparently this is, I mean, I think we kind of knew this already from the show, but it's alien tech, and we see in Kamala Khan in her show and Miss Marvel, she only gets one of the Bengals, and we're like wondering where the other one is, and it's in fucking space. And so it's not really a big plot point on the Bengal, because she got it from her grandma and is able to let her fucking literally go through time and shit and experience time. And so they're really strong. They're like a really strong artifact, but it's just like, I don't know. She it just really didn't play a big role into the plot, and maybe they'll do something with it later. I'm not sure, but it would just been because like the lady, the main bad guy says, "Oh, where'd you get that other bangle from?" And she is just like, it's a comedic moment. I like this. She's like, my grandma, she mailed it to me or whatever, and it's just like, yeah, it was a cool moment. But it's like, damn, like, can we get some more on that? Or like, how'd your grandma get it? Like, how the fuck did it get on Earth? Like, well, what's the deal with it? And I feel like this movie either could have benefited from either I feel like Miss Marvel season 2 to deal with that and more of the Bengals and like the origins and whatnot, and then Captain Marvel 2 to really patch that relationship, not even patch it up, but really, so you're not doing all the heavy lifting, the relationship between Monica Rambeau and Captain Marvel, because that's like her aunt. And Carol like left when she was a child and wasn't there when her mom died, and then Captain Rambeau, when she came back from the blip, her mom was dead, and so she just didn't have anyone around her, so she resents Captain Marvel a whole lot, which is rightfully so. But it's just been, this movie just had a lot to deal with only 90 minutes. Like, you're dealing with, that relationship, as I just explained. You're dealing with the Bengals. You're dealing with Captain Marvel's sequel and what she did on the Kree world and how that affects her. And I really like how, she was painted as the Annihilator, and she really didn't want Monica to see her in that light. Like, there's really good ideas. It just, I feel like, doesn't have enough time to breathe a little bit. So yeah, I just wish it was a little longer. We got some sequels before, because Captain Marvel has just been really missing in the MCU since her movie. Like, she really hasn't played a giant role in really anything. And I think Brie Larson's a phenomenal actress. And then on top of that, I think they did some really cool things with her in this movie. And I wish we just would have got more of that in the MCU before, because it kind of feels like Brie Larson, she's pretty much over the character. When like she was getting relentlessly harassed during the first Captain Marvel being released, like, it made a Billy, but just those fucking woke go broke people were just in her Instagram comments just relentlessly harassing her. And so she's just kind of over it. Like, she doesn't really want to play the character anymore with all the harassment and everything. And so, we probably won't be getting, unless like something changes, we won't be getting a whole lot with Captain Marvel anymore. So it just kind of sucks that she was a really good character in this movie. She was an actual character. They gave her flaws, and they gave her, stuff to work on. They gave her stuff like that she was good at. Like, they made her into an actual character, and it was just cool to see. I just, wish we would have got more of that. And because there's a really cool cameo with Valkyrie, which kind of comes out of left field. And this is where like the story kind of like, the story could be solved, I feel like, multiple times effortlessly. And when you have a story set up like that, that's a bad story. Like, one of the big reasons why the bad guy was doing what they're doing, because one, I said Captain Marvel, she was out for revenge regardless, but the sun on their planet, I forgot how Captain Marvel played a part in it, but the sun went out basically, and their planet was dying, and she was basically stealing resources from places Captain Marvel called home to, rejuice her planet. And they ended up trying to steal the Earth's sun with their planet. And then Captain Marvel made this promise, like, I'll re-energize your sun, and she does it at the end of the movie effortlessly. Like, there's no fuss about it. Feels like she had to do any fucking last ditch effort, sacrifice herself, nothing. She just literally flies through the sun, and it's reignited. And it's just like, damn, you couldn't have done that fucking years earlier. Like I was just like, what? Confused. And then what was another part? Yeah. It just felt like the story Valkyrie giving the remaining scrolls a home on New Asgard or something like that. Like that she could have literally done that like fucking like ages ago. Like I know New Asgard is fairly new, but still like you have this whole secret invasion. Like you don't Nick Fury didn't think it on one time. Damn, let me go see what's popping with New Asgard to see if I can get these people in here or whatnot. Like I don't know. I feel like the story could have been solved multiple times, and or even fucking the Kree people. Yeah, I don't know if they're all evil or not, but fucking extend. It's a whole planet, so maybe not. But try to relocate them and just I don't know. I feel like the plot was just very like really weak, and what held it up was the character moments and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Is Valkyrie and Captain Marvel dating? I mean, that would be pretty cool. I'm not opposed to that or anything, but again, they just didn't flesh it out. Like if there was a Captain Marvel 2 to, I don't know, fucking highlight that relationship or something. It just a lot of this stuff feels like half baked in this movie, and it just doesn't come together in all parts that I would like it to. But like I said, I gave it like a 7 out of 10, and but let's talk about the post credit scenes because I really for some reason, bro, Miss Marvel and the Marvels had some of my favorite post credit scenes in the MCU. Miss Marvel had the like cliffhanger. The show had the cliffhanger of her switching spots with Captain Marvel, and I was just like a really like what the fuck? Like how are these even connected and whatnot? I was just really interested to see where that goes, and that leads into this movie. And I guess I couldn't. I'm kind of disappointed, but not really. Like I don't know what I was really expecting, but I just would wanted a little bit more from this movie. But the post credit scenes though, let's get into that. So the first one is Kamala Khan going to recruit Kate Bishop into the Young Avengers, and she's like acting. So this is a little cute post credit scene because she's acting like how not Kevin, fucking Nick Fury. I was gonna say I don't know why I said Kevin, but how Nick Fury was acting in the early Marvel movies, just in the shadows with his eye patch and saying he got follows on you. She's just like imitating him. And it's just a cute moment of her, just, a fangirl moment of her acting like Fury. And then like Kate Bishop's is like the like Young Avengers, like I'm 23 years old. Like that was just another fun moment. And then the big one, I didn't even talk about like the action sequence. The final action sequence I liked a lot. It started off with like no music or anything. Like they were just throwing hands and they were just throwing them bitches, and I liked that a lot. And the music eventually did come in, but it was just like a straight like 30 seconds of just straight hands, and that was really fun. The choreography during the last fight was super good as well. I really liked the moment in the house and how the camera work and stuff, and that was super well done. It just I just didn't really like highlight the action sequences, and I did really like them a lot. So fudge, what I was talking about on the last post credit scene. Oh, because I was talking about the ending. I really like how Monica powered up and like patched the hole in the universe. Like she might be one of the strongest characters in the MCU. Like fucking that is extreme power to fucking patch a hole in the multiverse. Yeah, but I really like how she sacrificed herself and got transported to the motherfucking X-Men. It's not the X-Men universe, but it has the X-Men in it. And it was just, oh my God, seeing Beast. Whew. I will say it felt very, and I mean this in the best way possible because I think it looked really good. He looked very PS3, PS4 cutscene, which that's how Colossus kind of looked in Deadpool, but it worked. Like it's a giant metal man. Like, come on. Yeah, you could do that practically for sure. But it didn't look bad in Deadpool, and it didn't look really bad in this. I really liked it. It just felt like super video gamey, and it felt like straight up the comic book look. And it was just really cool. Like it felt like I was watching one of those Ultimate Alliance cutscenes. Like it looked cool. But I mean that in the best way possible. Just seeing Beast, and then what was that? I don't know the actor, but the voice actor behind it. I think it's Kelsey Grammer or something. But he played the original Beast in the X-Men movies. Just hearing him again in that comic accurate like look and design was just so cool. And then Monica, she patches a hole in the multiverse because that's how the main bad guy was stealing resources and giving them to her planet. So, but she punched a hole and it was going into a different universe and not just across space. It was going across space time, and so Monica patched the hole in the multiverse, and she ended up on the other side. Woke up in a hospital, the X under the school, and her mom was there. I don't know what character her mom was. I'm pretty sure it's definitely a named character for sure. And what's crazy, they showed a shot of this in the trailer, which was wild because this was like the biggest post credit scene, and they showed like kind of a shot. It was nothing like super revealing. You just see like the bottom half of her mom's like costume because her mom's dead in her universe, but she's like a superhero in the X-Men in this universe, so it showed like the bottom half of the costume. Um, but yeah, so he's like Beast is like, yeah, that's impossible. So this will probably play a role in like Secret Wars or Deadpool 3 or whatever. But yeah, I really like that post credit scene. Both of them were super fun. But I think that's really all my thoughts on the Marvels. It was all right. I definitely see why it's underperforming. Deserved? No, I don't think so. But I don't think it's like this movie. I didn't think this movie like it deserves more, but I don't think it's like super super great to like be highly praised. But it's not terrible. It definitely deserves more than what it's getting, and it's Iman, Vellani's second debut as Miss Marvel, so I would definitely like to see whatever she's in to do well because I think she's a really great cast for Kamala Khan. Um, I really like Monica Rambeau's actress Tiana. Let me see because I really like her as well. She was in They Cloned Chiron with Jamie Foxx and John Boyega. She did really good in that. Teyonah Parris, yeah, so she's really good. So anything they're in, Brie Larson was good as well. Samuel Jackson. I just those are good actresses. They are passionate about their characters, and I just would like to see it do better. They deserve it as individuals. Um, Now on to Loki season 2 review. I forgot to say this for the Marvels. I'll be keeping it. Oh wait, for this, I'm spoiling the fuck out of Loki for sure. It's season 2 of a show. So full spoilers. If you haven't seen Loki season 2, get the fuck out. Or if you don't care, rock out. I'll be spoiling season 1 as well. So if you haven't seen Loki at all, phenomenal show. The best Disney Plus show for sure. I mean, it's not like it's a super hard thing to accomplish, but for sure, like I think WandaVision and Loki are the best. But I think Loki's better than WandaVision. So yeah, full spoilers for Loki. Man, bro. Loki is such a well-made show, man. Just writing aside, just the visuals and the camera work and like the personality and the distinct style in Loki is just so beautiful, bro. And it just has so much personality and flair. I just love the aesthetic of it. I was kind of I was talking about this when my first impressions, but just the aesthetic of the TVA and everything. It's just so beautiful and just so um just has such a distinct style. And then you get the camera work and stuff and just the way they move the camera. There is a shot, I think the second to last episode, where there was a record spinning and time was doing the spaghettify effect. And if you haven't seen Loki, like when a universe is ending or whatnot, like it spaghettifies and a record was spinning and it ended up like floating while it was spinning. It's a hard shot to explain, but it was just so well done. And that's probably like one of my favorite shots in the MCU. And then the development on Loki is amazing as a character. And I guess I should just, it's full spoilers. So let me just prep Loki season 2. So Loki, he got pulled out of time from the Avengers Endgame. There was a bunch of shenanigans, time travel shenanigans. Loki was the villain of, he's Thor's brother, adoptive brother. He's the villain of Avengers 1. And he got captured at the end of the movie, but with Avengers Endgame, they went back in time to change some stuff to beat Thanos. Loki, the 2012 Avengers 1 Loki, ended up getting his hands on the Time Stone. The Space Stone. So he teleported away, but that wasn't how the timeline was supposed to go. So this organization called the TVA, Time Variance Authority, they come in and correct it. They was like, you're not supposed to be here at this point in time. So they snatch him up, and he ends up like working for them. And there's like this overarching story of Kang and him keeping the timeline in check this whole time, and him Loki setting it free, and you know, what that means for like why was this version of King keeping the timeline like separate from everything else, because if he didn't, there was gonna be all the other kings will be released, and there would be a huge multiversal war dealing with the kings basically ending all of time with their huge war. So he was keeping that in check. And at the end of season one, there's a variant Loki called Sylvie. She ends up killing He Who Remains, aka the Kang variant, keeping time in check. Once he died, everything started to just go out of whack. And season two is Loki just trying to fix the timeline and keep it from collapsing in and on itself, because all the multiple branches are merging in and destroying each other and whatnot. And just the way that this show develops Loki as a character, from because Loki's development in the MCU is right next to Rocket Raccoon, as some of the best development, and Nebula and stuff, some of the best development in the whole entire MCU. And you get that over multiple years, over multiple movies of Loki being a dickhead to Thor, constantly betraying him, and betraying his family and seeing what's right and coming around and whatnot. And finally, when Loki got to a point where he was had a very good relationship with his brother, had a very good relationship with his family's fucking dead, but just starting to come around and be an actual god and hero and stuff, and not just this trickster all the time. He dies to Thanos, and so you get this amazingly developed Loki character over the years, and you regress him to where he was at the end of his first his one of his first appearances, his most evil, where all that development hasn't happened yet. This show took Loki and gave him all that development again in a different way. Like, I expected this show to just like catch Loki up how he is, how he was currently, how he was before, with all the development, and just throw him back in the universe. That's what I expected, is to get back to the status quo of Loki being, antagonizing Thor and whatnot, or teaming up with Thor. But this show like kind of built him up again in a different way, which I liked a lot. Like, he found his glorious purpose and he found what he needed to do, and he makes the tough decision by the end of everything. At the end of the show, he realizes, there's no way to stop the kings from coming. There's no way to stop the branches from collapsing in on itself, and unless he does something. Like, he's a god. He literally becomes the god of the multiverse, and he creates a world tree where all the timeline branches spawn off of, and he's, I wouldn't say in control, but he's just keeping it together, and he's letting everyone be free, create their own choices. And for Loki to make that selfless sacrifice, and he was just the maniacal, evil version, 2012 version, trying to take over New York and planet Earth and stuff. To get him to that point again is just so beautiful, and they just did it so well. And the characters that they brung along the journey to get him there, Mobius and Sylvie and B-15 and Obi and everyone, Casey, along on that journey, helping him get there. It was just so well done. And speaking of Obi, he was my favorite addition to the cast of the season 2. The guy who plays Obi, he played Short Round in the Indiana Jones movie, and he took a break for a really long time. Because he took a really long break from acting, because he didn't think that Asian actors really had a strong Hugh Kwan. But he did phenomenal as Obi. Just his comedic timing on his line delivery, and his subtleness of caring over, mixed with his analytical mind. It was really cool to see. I just love everything he brought to the table, with his addition to the cast. And I really like the arc. I really like the last episode specifically. I think I want to say it's my favorite episode, but I think my favorite episode is when they go to the Forgotten Realm or whatever, and they meet all the other Lokis in season 1. I just really, really like that episode because of classic Loki's explanation of him missing his brother and deciding to leave and getting captured by the TV and whatnot. I really like that explanation so much. Or that little, like, spiel he does. And there's just, what I was saying, Loki, like, so he needs to become super smart, not super fast, because it literally takes him centuries. But he, like, goes centuries and to figure out the plan to fix the timeline and whatnot, and is trying everything he can. And I just like how that whole thing just developed, and just by the end he was like, fuck it, I just gotta nut up or shut up and become the god of the timeline. But this show, I think, it kind of leaves Kang's, what's it called, Kang's, because they were, I said last week, they're really like, even before Jonathan Majors abuse allegations came out, they were thinking about pivoting from Kang because of how poor Quantum Medium performed, which he wasn't the problem with that movie. So that was like, it didn't matter either way. Like, they're gonna have to replace him. But this movie or this show really like leaves the door open for replacing Kang. But replacing Kang is so easy. It's literally, we're dealing with variants who look similar or different. So literally just get another black actor like John Boyega. I heard like he was not heard, but people have been saying he would be a really good Kang variant, which I agree with. Like, get fucking, someone and just, you know, be a Kang variant. They don't even have to be. I would prefer if they're black, but they don't even have to be black. They're fucking variants. Like, come on, brother. It's so easy. You don't need to pivot to Doctor Doom or anything, which I really want to see Doctor Doom be a big bad. So I'm not too fussed about that. Um, but it just leaves it pretty open ended to see if he's really returning or not. So I talked about the story. I really liked it. Talked about the characters and all the relationships are good. The action is pretty light on this show. I wouldn't say it's a highlight at all. It's really like just throwy, like throwing you around and whatnot, or hitting you with a green force blaster and stuff. So it's not super good, but that's not the highlight of the show. It's the writing and the character interactions, which the show I think definitely delivers on. So the action is serviceable. I wouldn't say it's like anything to get like fucking super jazzed about, but actually there was a really good moment in season one was I talked about the episode where all the Lokis come and everything, all of them fight. There's a really good action sequence there. The score is amazing. Just the I can't like really recall any like melodies or anything off the top of my head right now, but I just know by the end of the show, just ramping up the score, ramping up the way it did. It was just really good, and I really enjoy the score. I really enjoy strong scores, and Loki definitely had one throughout the whole show. So that was great. And then Loki or Tom Hiddleston, the person who plays Loki, he says the season 2 finale was the conclusion to 14 years of his life. It's been a journey. Like, this show really did feel like a character study on Loki, even though sometimes they didn't get all right. Sometimes, like in the earlier in the season 1, but I think they really stuck the landing overall and really transformed. Not even transformed, just this character's just been the way that he just has you see his journey from the start of the MCU to where he is now is just amazing. They did such a good job with this, and they need to get the Loki guys on some more Marvel stuff because they're honestly just knock it out of the park like damn near every time. So, and the CGI was actually really great, and that's because they had a solid plan with what they wanted to do with really no changes in post, like making VFF CGI artists rush to get this out because you want to fucking move this scene to episode 1 or whatever, making them crunch to, and now shit looks bad and now they're getting blamed when it's really just poor planning and poor script writing, and that shouldn't fall on them. So Loki season 2 I know had no reshoots, or the shit that they shot was the vision that they wanted and they didn't go back and change anything. So the CGI artists had a really good amount of time to perfect what they were working on because they knew what the vision was from ahead of time. So the CGI for Loki was really good. I think that's really all I want to say. I just hope it seems like I said that like Loki is sounding like it was Tom Hiddleston's like kind of last outing as this character. Maybe we'll see, but I just really wanted him reunite with Thor again because, like I said, their dynamic was just getting to a spot where like they felt like brothers, and it was really cool to see. And then also, Thor Ragnarok really dropped the ball on it. Like, no mention of Loki at all after we got season 1 of Loki. The classic Loki, I said, making that really great speech about Thor and missing his brother. You get no mention of Loki and Thor for Love and Thunder. All he has is a fucking back tattoo of him and his sister Hela, who tried to murder them and their whole planet. Like, come on, brother. Like, you got her right next to Loki. Come on. I don't know. It's just Thor 4 just really dropped the ball in developing that relationship even further without Loki in it. Like, you could have Thor like really reminisce, like, damn, I miss my brother and shit. Like, we was really getting to a spot where we was really fucking with each other. Like, and the showrunners and directors of Loki, they said that they wanted to get Loki back to that emotional place to see Thor again and reconnect with him again. And they did get him to that spot, but it's just like, damn, are we even gonna see that now? Because Tom Hiddleston doesn't really seem like he is coming back to do more, or what's the deal with that? But I would really love to see Thor and Loki reunite again. Yeah, but that's pretty much it. I think my rating though for Loki for the whole series, I really liked it from start to finish. Like, there was a couple, episodes here and there that probably weren't as great as the others. I think Loki is definitely a 8.59 to me for sure. Yeah, I mean, I could go up and down on that rating a little bit, but it's definitely around there for sure. So that is Loki talk, and now we'll just get into my weekly watch list. Um, I didn't watch a whole lot this week, but I did start Pluto, which is I think the Astro Boy like series I think was talking about last week. Really good fucking visuals, really good art style. Still in the first episode. I'm not super far in, but I really, really enjoyed what I was watching a lot. So I would definitely check that out. It's on Netflix. Pluto. If you like anime, check that out. Again, I'm still super early in, but just like, so basically the machines and humans, like, there's advanced machines and humans live together, and there's advanced robots that look indistinguishable from humans, and they can like morph their hands into weapons and stuff. And this one particularly that we're following, at least right now, he's like a cop, and I think he investigates like other like machines going haywire or something. And just like the arts, the way that his hand morphs into the gun and stuff, it looks so well done, super visually pleasing. So definitely go check that out, Pluto. And I'm still super early, but I'll definitely be giving more updates as I get into it. And then I watched Blue-Eyed Samurai. This is another animated thing on Netflix. And also for these two shows, the episodes are like, there's like 8 episodes in maybe each show, 8 to 10, and they're all like an hour, 50 minutes to like an hour plus long. So there's definitely some good content in there, some good amount of content in there. But Blue Eye Samurai is like in feudal Japan or something, and I think Japan closes border to all like foreigners. But so if you were like mixed race, you were looked at as like not an equal, like a monstrosity and stuff. And so I think this girl, I think it's a girl, she's white and Asian, and it's kind of, now I'm talking about it, it's kind of like wild. It's like white savior story. I don't know. But it has really good visuals and stuff. Again, I'm still on the first episode of this as well. But I was liking what I seen. It had the action sequence that I saw was really swift. The animation style is really good. The animation's really buttery smooth. I love all the character design so far. I can't really say too much story wise because I'm not really into it yet. But I found out about this on Twitter. Someone was talking about it, and they said it was one of their favorite animated movies of the year if it wasn't for Spider-Verse. So with that high praise, Spider-Verse is one of my favorite movies of all time. So I want to see what it's hidden for and go check. So I checked that out. So I definitely recommend Pluto. I can't recommend this one yet because I'm a little bit further in Pluto than I am with Blue-Eyed Samurai, but I'm literally in the first like 10-15 minutes of Blue-Eyed Samurai. But I'm liking what I see so far. So I mean, shit, if what I said was cool, then go check it out. It's on Netflix. And then on the music side of things, I listened to Stan Will. He's part of Shitty Boys with Babytron and TRD. I listened to he dropped an 8-track tape. I need to listen to it for sure another way through, but I was liking what I was hearing. I definitely gotta go check that out if you like Babytron and shit. Stan Will, he's so fire. Babytron's pretty underrated, but they're all underrated. But TRD's the most underrated, but Stan Will gets slept on too, but they're all super talented. So go check that out. Unstoppable by Stan Will. 8 songs, 19 minutes. A breezy little quick listen. Yeah, I gotta check it out though to specifically say what tracks I was feeling. So I'll probably get an update on that next week. And then for our last section, pondering my orb for the week as we gear up for Monday and get ready for the new week. Um, Honestly, I said I had like a bad week, and that was true. So really, my thing is just I kind of said it last week, just determination, keep moving forward. But and it's okay to feel bad sometimes, just let it out. And it's not like cry, let it out. And it's all about how you move forward from there and how you pick yourself up and go from there, So just don't give up. And it's good to feel your feelings, and just sit in them and recognize them and really, really dwell in them. I'm not saying to just sulk and stuff, but don't try to, close yourself off and not feel what you're feeling. Because it is good to feel what you're feeling, because you'll just harbor that in and it will come out in different ways that you don't even realize, just this quickly, you just find yourself a lot more irritated quickly, or, shorter temper, or whatever. Like you're a lot more mean than you usually are, to some of the people around you who maybe don't deserve it. And it just comes out in different ways. And if you hold that stuff in, so you just never know how that will manifest itself. It's different for everyone. So if you feel those feelings, talk about them, even if it's just writing them down, or because if you don't have anyone to talk to, not everyone has the same outlets and same, support system as other people. But if you don't, writing stuff down helps a lot to really get that out. And I don't know if you can afford it, but maybe seek some therapy if you need someone to talk to, or someone, or just build connections with people. And I'm not saying, be mindful about oversharing and stuff, because people like to just get in your business and try to use, your problems against you sometimes. And so be mindful about that too. But, just try to talk about your problems a little bit, let it out, and just keep moving forward, man. Because, yeah, your heart might hurt for some amount of time or whatever, but it's not gonna always feel like that. Maybe some days it feels like it'll always be like that, but that's not the reality, man. Life evolves, life gets better. You just gotta keep going, man. You gotta keep going. Once you stop, you're cooked. You gotta restart. You gotta restart from where you were. And there's not that happens sometimes. If that happens, it's not the end of the world. Just pick yourself again. Like I said, it's how you respond to stuff. Just pick yourself back up and get to it, man. You got stuff to do, got stuff to accomplish, got dreams to accomplish. Keep going, man. But that's pretty much it for this episode. Probably a longer one, but yeah, I'll catch you. Oh, gotta do the outro. I gotta do the outro. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at DS2Smooth, DS number 2 SMOOVE, DS2Smooth. And on those same apps, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, it's DS2Smooth YT. Stands for YouTube, YT. So DS2Smooth YT is for my YouTube accounts. I post like different stuff on different accounts. Like maybe I'll post some specific TikTok content, or I'll post, a clip on a YouTube Shorts or something. But go follow my main channel, my main YouTube channel, DS2Smooth, and follow my second channel, DS2Smooth Elongated, for my longer form gameplay videos and stuff. I already beat the game, but I'm just getting the footage ready to post on my main channel. So yeah, I think I'm there's 14 like main episodes, and I have like 2 side ones. But I'm on episode 9 right now on my channel, and I think I'm working on 10. So I'm just trying to push that out. So I've been kind of slacking on my main channel videos. But then I plan to condense all of that story footage, that 14 episodes or whatever, into maybe a 1 to 2 part video on my main channel. Because my main channel has like all my edits and stuff. Like that's when I'll put in my memes and like, just try to be creative editing wise. And my longer form channel, I don't edit. Like maybe I'll cut the dead space and that's it, and then put up maybe some like a picture of my main channel when I talk about it. But for the most part, that's like no editing. So if you want to see my edits and stuff, follow my main channel. And yeah, I was gonna say follow my podcast, but this is my podcast. We're on Spotify now, my boy. That is great. That's cool. So honestly, like I'm not expecting anyone to really listen to these yet, but I'm kind of like making a backlog for when I do end up. I know if I'm consistent, bro, there's no way I'm not gonna blow up or build a decent following. So just being consistent. So I'm like kind of making these podcasts for that. I know no one's really checking them out yet, but they'll be there for when you do eventually discover me and you discover want to go back on my past content. And that's why I kind of try to keep it at a quality level, so you can revisit this stuff and doesn't feel like you're grinding like nails on a chalkboard. Doesn't feel like grinding and terrible. And my content will evolve from now and get better from now, but it's pretty decent right now. But yeah, unless so that's what this kind of podcast is. And eventually, people will start checking it out. And same thing with my second channel. I'm not really promoting it or anything. Like, as 2 subscribers, I think one of them from my cousin, and yeah, so like all the videos I post on it really don't get any views because I'm not promoting or anything. Like, if for my main channel, once I make my next video, like I'll link that and I'll probably put a little clip from my second channel on there, and then I'll start promoting it. But it's really just like archive shit. Like, if you want to go see me play Spider-Man, go see me play Spider-Man. Like, because I'm gonna do this shit regardless. So it's just putting it on that channel and making it available, making it ready for everyone. So if you want to see me play Spider-Man, go see me play Spider-Man. You want to go, the next thing I'll be playing is Cyberpunk. So if you want to go see me play Cyberpunk, watch me play Cyberpunk. So yeah, but that's pretty much it for this week. I hope everyone has a good week and a good productive week and get everything you need done. Or even if you don't be too hard on yourself. Stuff happens. Give yourself some leeway, but also be real about the reality of the situation. If you know you're slacking off, then you're slacking off, my boy. But if you're trying your best and shit's still not shaking, bro, just keep trying. Be consistent, bro. Shit's gonna shake. Just keep doing your Dougie, man. I'll see you guys next week. Oh, that's what I'm gonna say. I finished playing Spider-Man, so I'm kind of like trying to formulate my thoughts for Spider-Man review, and that might be next week if nothing really comes out. So that'll be the main topic, Spider-Man review. So I gotta get my thoughts on that together, because the gameplay's stellar, but I feel like the story is at war with the game. So yeah. Next week will probably, if there's nothing else coming out, which I don't think there is, next week will probably be Spider-Man 2 review. But yeah, that's all this week. I'll catch you guys next week.